it is coming down a little bit out there right now.
Yeah, very heavy rain north of 1604 going right up 281. We're also watching the I-35 corridor very, very closely. In fact, that's where the flash flood watch is, and that's going to be in effect until tomorrow morning. Our KENS 5 live weather truck is on I-35. In fact, just getting a report, we're north of Buc-ee's. So Gus didn't stop at Buc-ee's. That's good. All right, thank you, Gus. But if you do, get me some nuggets and bring them back. Okay. No, we're overcast, but you can see that these roads are pretty dry at the moment. That can change quickly, of course, with the kind of storms that we have out there right now. So we're going to be keeping an eye on the storms and the radar. Gus, be very, very careful out there as we chase down some of these isolated cells. Nothing severe, but some very heavy rain is just off to the west of where you see this live picture right now. Let's get to that radar screen and I'll show you a pretty wide view, and you'll see that it's really scattered and almost isolated as you move your way out into the hill country. But as far as we're concerned here into San Antonio, and you'll notice that we've got some very heavy rain pockets in the northern areas of the county, kind of going into Comal County and Kendall County. So just off to the west of 281 and well north now of 1604 and heading more towards the outer loop, as we like to call it, which is Highway 46. Now there's, again, nothing severe on this cell or the one developing in far west San Antonio, but we do have some lightning. So we're just between Hollywood and Timberwood Park. And again, moving pretty quickly. So this will minimize the flood threat if it can continue moving fast. Same on this cell. This is again west, far west, just crossing over Highway 90, maybe going to clip Leon Valley on its way out over Alamo Ranch and the SeaWorld area. Moving forward, we're going to be seeing this computer model is initializing really well. And so we've got high confidence that at 6 p.m. we're going to have another thunderstorm develop southwest Bexar County. This could be the ones we watch very closely. By 7 o'clock, it looks as though we're blanketed across most of northern Bexar County up into New Braunfels with very strong storms that could be severe up until the 9 p.m. hour, going up I-35 and exiting off to the east. We're expecting a lot of rainfall, and these could turn severe quickly. In fact, look at this rainfall total. Just from yesterday to today, we went from an inch up to 3 inches or more in San Antonio and the Texas Hill Country. It's quite a setup, and I want to bring in meteorologist Ryan Shoptaugh from our digital center to talk about the ingredients that are in place with this, Ryan.
Yeah, hey there, Bill. So we have instability, we have shear, and we have a lot of moisture in place to touch off isolated to scattered thunderstorms around the area. The first and foremost of which is wind shear. Winds are going so fast in the mid to high levels of the atmosphere. And when you get that kind of environment, that produces a lot of vertical motion. And with the amount of humidity that's in place, dew points right around the 70s, it's a prime, conducive, favorable environment for scattered rain and, of course, as Bill mentioned, strong thunderstorms that could produce localized pockets of heavy flood-provoking rainfall. Also large hail up to quarter to maybe golf ball size. That's not what we're looking at right now, but between now and about 6, 7, and 8 p.m. this evening, there is a threat for that. The highest threat farther north into West Texas, parts of the Panhandle, Lubbock, up in Amarillo, where that pink shade you're seeing on this particular map is indicating the highest threat for widespread, very large, damaging hail over the next several hours and probably in through tomorrow morning as well. Now take a look at this. Another threat is flash flooding. We also, Bill mentioned, the flash flood watches that are in effect for Bexar County and surrounding counties north and northeast up I-35. Now you can see on these red colors that is a moderate risk for flooding. And you know, some of these pockets of rain could produce upwards of 2 to 3 inches of rain in a very short amount of time. So we're going to watch this very closely. Right now, the highest threats is large hail, gusty winds. Flooding depends on where you're at, where these downpours set up across the region. Tornadoes, a very low threat, but we're going to watch this very closely. And at this point, Bill, scattered rain on radar. At this point, it's nowcasting. We're looking at radar and seeing what develops and what doesn't and where exactly the rain moves through.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Ryan. Again, yeah, the flooding should be localized. And keep in mind, he mentioned the humidity. Look at this dew point this afternoon. This is dangerously high at 75 degrees. That is a real tropical air mass that, again, can produce a lot of rainfall. In fact, what we call precipitable water values are up to 2 inches plus. So again, one of the higher threats is going to be this flooding up the I-35 corridor. We're watching closely. So tomorrow morning is when we get the rain out of here. It's going to go through probably about mid-morning. And then Thursday, 30% through the rest of the afternoon, 86. And then on Friday, we should stay dry, 86, but bring in a 30% chance of rain late Friday night. Only a slight chance, 10% over Saturday, Sunday, highs in the mid-80s. And then look at this, over into the mid-90s as we head into a hot week. But stay weather aware. The KENS 5 app, and of course, on all our platforms. We'll be right back.